Okay, the power supply in this PDP-8 has been tested, damaged, repaired, retested and now installed, so we're ready to turn it on. I'll try it with just the front panel connected first. No cards, just this front card, and see what it does. I don't think it should be any problem. I looked at the schematics, can't see how any damage might result from just running that, but no, in my luck. Let's see. Alright, power on. I would have thought maybe we'd get some lights. No. That wasn't too much fun, was it? That wasn't very interesting. Okay, I'll put the cards in. Well, hopefully it will do something more interesting with these cards installed. I have to refer to my notes to work out where they all go. Alright, that's the CPU and the async interface installed. Now there's the core memory. In that core memory plane there should still be a program that I entered on the front panel years ago, like at least 10 years ago, that just does a loop to increment the accumulator, I think. So yeah, hopefully when we turn it on, that program will still be accessible. So there it is with everything installed. CPU, this card is the asynchronous serial interface, and this one's a sort of a parallel interface, and there's the core memory. So these two in the middle aren't really needed, but why not over there. Now a couple of these boards have the ones with these top connectors here, the core memory and the one next to it have just edge connectors, so you could put them in this way or that way, upside down or not. I hope I've got them around the right way. I think I have. And there's this cable that for the serial I/O that plugs into this card here. I won't worry about that for now. Alright, time to bite the bullet. Alright, here goes. No bloody lights. Why not? We should have lights. Something's wrong. What the hell's going on there? Better check the power supply. Well, measuring the voltages there on the output connector, they're all good. So perhaps that plug isn't going in fully. Not sure. I need some way to test if the voltages are on the omnibus down there, but crazy numbering system, hard to find things. Plus it's just awkward. I'll have to come up with some way of doing that. Yeah, so to try and work out whether the power was getting to the omnibus from the power supply, I'd spent quite a while looking at the schematics for these two boards, the serial interface and the parallel interface, because I thought they're good candidates to put a little connector up here somewhere and run wires down to pins for the power supplies, and then I could easily monitor them from up the top. Yeah, I may still do that because it's the easiest way. It doesn't have to do anything permanent to it. It can always be easily removed by just use a bit of hot melt glue or something. But then I came back in here and turned it on again, and yes, as you saw, the lights do in fact work. The problem is I was looking at it I was standing at the time, and yeah, so the lights do in fact work, and it's because I forgot how dim they are, and also they're set back a fair bit, so you've got to be looking almost straight on, even a slight angle like that, and you can't see them, and that's how it was when I was standing up. So turning it on, if we look at put in address 0, load address, and then examine. Can you see those? Yes, you can see them, but I'll drop this down a bit. There's something in there, and this is always the same. I've turned it on a few times. So 7462, and then next location 0002, 0004, 3033, 0040, and then zeros. And I looked at those. That doesn't seem to be a program, so either my program that I thought was in there is lost, or I put it at some other location. And a bit worryingly, if we look at address 1000 octal, load that address and then examine, we get exactly the same sequence. So does that mean we've got a dud address line somewhere, so that this address and 0 are the same, 1000 and 0? But if we look at, say, 2000, like that address, and examine, we get different data there, so maybe it's not a stuck bit. Anyway, so I decided, I looked around and I found a couple of short test programs. That top one, it's only 4 instructions. That's where I got it from. 4 instructions are just increments the accumulator with a short delay in between, so that it happens slow enough to see it counting. So I'll stick that in and see what happens. Just at location 0, so load address 7001. Deposit. This is the first time I've tried writing anything to memory. Looks like it's taken. Next address should be 2101, then 5001, and then 5000. So go back and check that. Load address, examine 7001. Correct. Looks like the memory's working. 2101. That's good. 5001 and 5000. So yeah, at least the memory's working. So if we load address 0 again and then say continue, it's running. If we look at the accumulator, it's counting. So this thing is working. Yay! About time I had a bloody PDP computer what worked. This is the third one I've tried to get going. And it was the one that worked when I got it anyway, so I would be very disappointed if it didn't work. So what this program does is a very short loop. It increments the accumulator and then loops 4,000 times before going on to this last jump, which takes it back and increments the accumulator again. So each time that light there flashes, it's doing 4,000 loops, or 8,000 instructions. Right, so next I might try this one as well. This apparently does some sort of a Cylon thing that makes the accumulator LEDs move backwards and forwards like a, I don't know, Knight Rider or something. I'll try that and see what it does. I won't bore you having you watch me put it in, but alright, and first of all, let's just halt, stops, single step. That's oscillating between, this is inside that loop. I'd like to do this 4,000 times before we get to an increment of the accumulator, so yeah, I won't bother doing that. Continue, and away it goes again. Beautiful, that's very nice to see. The memory's working and the CPU's working. Beautiful. Alright, I'll put in this Cylon program. Yeah, the load address key seems a bit dodgy. It doesn't always work. And even the deposit, sometimes you have to click deposit twice to get it in. But I think I've now got this second program in there, so if we load address to start at 0, clear CPU state and run, and then look at the accumulator. Oh, there we go, there's that little Cylon. It worked. What a ripper. What else is going on in this thing? Seems to be jumping around between two groups of instructions going on up there. State, link. Who knows what that means? Status. Accumulator, memory data all over the show, multiply quotient register not used, and bus has also got a bit of a Cylon thing happening. Oh, I might call it a day for this guy. I've got some other little test programs. I found some quite simple short ones for exercising this serial I/O card. I've got to look into what I need to interface to this, especially if I want to use this cable. This might be set up with 20 milliamp current loop, and I want to use RS232 if that's possible with this thing. It should be, but I've got to look into that, and I won't bother with that in this video. So there we go, back to the accumulator. A PDP-8 watt works, almost. A bit dodgy on these keys. I hope it's not electronics, just maybe I can squirt some deoxide or something into them and they'll come good. But there, I'm pretty pleased with that. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a like, subscribe for future updates, and I'll catch you later.